Can I tell you a story about why I bought it? I used to have a fiberglass boat and a 31-foot yawl, and we were in Great Salt Pond in Block Island, and a northwesterly came in. The front of the northwesterly came in. We had to leave, so we went off, started sailing off Block Island for home, which was the Connecticut River in Essex. And it was choppy and a breeze of about 20 knots, and my boat wouldn't go anywhere. It just hobby-horsed up and down like this and could hardly move. And right about then, a Concordia sailed past me, and with no problem at all, everybody nice and dry, sitting up there and having a nice time, and just gliding through the water with that wonderful motion that Concordias have. And I said, that's it, I'm selling this boat, and I'm buying a Concordia, and I did.
The love that people have for Concordia sailboats is born of a love for sailing on fine boats that was passed from father to son. Ideal for Waldo's vision of a boatyard. It had a tradition of fine boats, and while he didn't get rich, it was a place where he felt natural and comfortable.
Worn out quite a few pairs of shoes walking up and down here. In fact, I spent my entire working life on this dock. But I wouldn't change for anything. It worked out well for me. Everything went in my favor.
Another friend that contributed greatly to the success of Concordia boats was Ray Hunt.
Ray designed, and I generally was the salesman that brought the orders in, and he did the design, and then turned over to me the details of construction and so forth. And we worked nicely together, very nicely. It was great fun, and I learned a lot from him.
Another person that Waldo learned from was Drayton Cochran, who was responsible for introducing Waldo to Abiking and Rasmussen, the yard which was to eventually build all but 4 of the 103 Concordia 39s and 41s.
And Abiking and Rasmussen was set up so that they could build a boat quickly without loss of motion.
With the addition of a yard which could build the Concordia yawl inexpensively, the ingredients were in place to create a large and venerable class of sailboats. The Concordia that you see today is very much the product of the sailing experiences of Waldo and his father.
Well, I guess 3 or 4 years until the 38 hurricane came, and she was a total loss as she lay in Padenham Harbor and broke loose, went up under the bridge. And that was the time when Father had to think very hard whether he would ever get another boat. He was so sad about that loss, but he did, and that was the time when Ray Hunt and I, following Father's wishes, who knew just what he wanted, built the first boat that are now known as Concordia yawls.
Waldo's early experiences in racing and in cruising, and of course the influence of his father, can be seen throughout the Concordia yawls. That first Concordia, which for 5 years was also
like
named Escape.
Couple that talked with each other and said, why is it's more fun to sail on this boat than our own, which was a smaller boat. Well, the point is, they figured it out themselves. When you're looking forward, the house isn't in the way. It's the hull of the boat, and you can't do anything about that. But it is an advantage, a pleasure advantage, to be able to see where you're going sitting down. I often hear and understand folks that say, well, you don't have full headroom down below. But I think my thinking is, of course, nobody should be that tall anyway, but if they are, there's no reason for standing there a whole lot except at the galley, and then your head is out the wide hatch. But when you're sailing, which you do all day, you can sit comfortably and see where you're going, not having to stand up all the time. I think it's a good compromise. I understand men have trouble putting on their pants if they can't stand up, but they can come off to do that. It's been one thing that you would have different if you could do it all in the same boat. And the other thing that, besides seeing where you're going, easy sail handling, the thought was to have the boat sail fairly upright. And to attain that, the bilge has a very hard turn. It's hard to explain that, but a bottle would not have a hard turn. It would be round. The bottom of the boat would be round from side to side. But this comes to the waterline and then goes pretty straight into the keel. And that is called a hard turn to the bilge. And it makes a boat that will heel over well, so that the water is about halfway up the top sides and probably not go much further. In other words, she won't lay down on her ear. So anyway, having tried 100 times, that seems to be the best. Everything you can leave out is a gain in weight and convenience. I remember Dan Strohmeyer telling me that he had several good racing fellows, young fellows, on his race to Bermuda one year. And the remark was that they never realized that a boat could be so easy to handle. And that means a more restful race. And the fellows that raced him sailed them well, there's no question about that. But it was relatively easy on the crew. And a tired man is not as alert as a rested man. They did very well on the whole. Although they just won twice, they got second twice.
It seems like you can't change these boats to make an improvement without losing on the other end. You know, all 103 Concordias are out there and operating. Well, they've all hit rocks, and they've hit them in hurricanes, and they've had damage, and they've been driven hard. But why are there 103 Concordias, all of them still together?
The answer to that question varies with each owner asked. But the common theme among them is a tremendous respect for its characteristics of well-thought-out design that you can live with day after day.
And you can take your choice.
It is a choice that many people are making in favor of a more classic look in their boats. If asked to choose their favorite boat, a surprising number of people pick these fine little yawls from Peda Narum.
I think a Concordia, in terms of the larger cruising boats, is what I really love. The lines are so sweet, and the purpose that it was designed for, sailing in Buzzards Bay.